All right, second round of the world-famous sports panel, boys. Let's get into it right away. The Oilers, there's no doubt they've had a lot of success this year. The Oilers, they're trending towards the playoffs, but it's going to get harder for them, I think, as they get into the playoffs. We saw the game last night. The New York Islanders are really starting to work hard. These guys are, it's harder to score goals. It's harder to defend against goals. So as you transition your experience from a team that maybe was a bit also ran to a decent team, now to a team that's maybe contending, maybe thinking about winning a playoff round or two, how does your mindset have to shift in that dressing room?
Well, you just have that sense of urgency when the playoffs roll around. And even this time of the year, like you've got 10 games, these 10 games can make or break your year. Bringing a guy like Deschamps in from Montreal who's got some playoff experience, not a lot, but more than the current regime in Edmonton does, will help. You know, he's a pretty good guy in face-offs. A good guy in the room, you know, that can maybe set the tone for how the guys, like, say, on the third line, the fourth line, those guys, you know, because in the playoffs, that's what wins your games. You know, the depth really carries you through there. You might win one series, but if you want to go far, you got to have everybody on the team pitching in, and it's a cultural thing, right? Like, it's a mindset. You know, losing teams make excuses. Losing teams talk in the corners about, like, why things aren't going right. Winning teams stay late. They practice. They watch film. They do the little things. They practice the scenarios that are so crucial in close games in the playoffs, and that's what makes or breaks you.
What do you think, Randy?
It's consistency, really.
Yeah.
I think you'll see with the Oilers what they did. They're just getting complacent at times where they really shouldn't. They should be more aggressive, where they're doing well, and then they go on a power play, and then they take a break. Whereas they really should be amping it up and not feel like they're comfortable because they're on a power play. Right? Great teams will just keep that foot on the pedal at all times.
Yeah.
Especially going into the playoffs, you're trying to, you know, detail down and get things as tight as you can to win, right? And we have a lot of players that possibly haven't been in the position where they are a winning team before. So to understand that, and even you have fans that are just coming in out of nowhere now because they're like, oh, they're winning, right? So they don't even see it happening, right? So the fans don't even 100% believe it, even though it's happening, right? So you have to get that in the locker room where even the players are like, hey, we are that good, right? We're not just winning games sporadically here and there for luck. We're good. Let's actually show it constantly.
Yeah. When the teams you're on, when you guys are pushing towards to great things, did you ever find that teammates got left behind? They couldn't make those adjustments?
Yeah, absolutely,
so what happened to those teams?
And you know what? As a player, you really know when you've been on winning teams, you can spot those guys. Like Randy would tell you the same thing. You know, you look around the room, you watch special teams, for example, in football. It would be the same thing as like watching a guy penalty kill. You know, you see those guys throwing themselves in front of the puck. You see those guys making, you know, getting dirty in front of the net. You know, and you know, when you got a first-round guy like Eberle or a guy like RNH who won't do those things, that doesn't sit well. You know, with the guy, and I think that's why a lot of guys got moved on prior to this season. So I think we're really going to see like because football era, playoffs is a different animal, man. Like you've really got to sell out. I mean, it's all or nothing. Like you won't play tomorrow. You know, that's the difference.
Randy, your thoughts?
When you think back, the most thing I remember back in 2003, 2004, when they made their last run, it was how many players sacrificed themselves and blocked pucks. It was the biggest thing that during the game, people were starting to count how many pucks they were blocking, how many they took in the face, wherever it was. Like, they're bloody and there's blood all over the ice, and they're still taking pucks for the team. You should start taking pucks on day one.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't wait.
You know, like I know it's a long season, but at the same point, this is nitty gritty. This is where you have to see who's going to sacrifice themselves for the long run.
And you know, that last run, you know, you got a guy like Horkoff who came out of nowhere and led the league in playoff scoring, right? And so you get a guy like that. I mean, the Oilers could have a guy like that on their roster right now. We don't even know it. But that's the beauty of the playoffs, because that's when that type of thing comes out. But that starts from the top. You know, you got a guy like McDavid, and you got an addition, late free agency addition of a guy like Deschamps who's got some playoff experience. Those guys have to set the tone for the rest of the team to follow, right? And, you know, Lucic and those guys. That's when Lucic starts earning his $7 million contract. That's why they brought him here. You know,
there's no doubt it'd be exciting times to talk about it, guys. Thanks, great insight. I think what we're going to do, Randy, next time you come in, I'm going to take slap shots and you can block the shot. You're talking to
I used to be a goalie. I
want to watch that.
Oh, come on, you had equipment on.
I want to watch that.
I'll put it on.
Thanks, boys. All right, let's take a quick pause here on Dinner Television. We'll get Randy suited up to block some one-timers.
Oh, man. Mini hockey stick.